Hello guys, and welcome to this video where I will show you a Hotlap around Canada, then the setup I use, and finally the race strategy. So let's jump right into the Hotlap. Get the DRS on for the straight, and then coming into turn 1 you want to brake just after the 100-meter board, going down to 3rd gear and really cut this curb. Then for turn 2, brake and go down to 2nd gear, short shift up to 3rd, and then try to get full throttle as fast as possible. For turn 3, brake at around 60 meters and then try to go over these curves in 5th gear. I didn't do it very successfully, so I'll show you a better one after this lap. Coming into turn 6, brake just after the 100-meter board, trying to cut these corners as well, then going up to 3rd and 4th and then DRS on. Then in turn 8, brake when you go under this bridge, down to 4th, and then try to mount these curves as much as possible because you gain so much time on this. Then coming down to the U-turn, brake when passing the 100-meter board, take a late apex. I didn't quite hit the apex, but try to really just push the throttle as much as possible to get the maximum speed for the straight. DRS on, and then coming down to one of the harder chicanes. But you want to brake after the 100-meter board around 75 to 80 meters, going down to 5th gear and really mount these two curbs. Don't hit the wall of champions, get the DRS on, and then that was a lap around Canada. In the time 1:10.069. But there is still some time to gain, so watch this clip where in the first sector I gain over 0.1 seconds. So theoretically we are down in the 1:09 point something. So do this in sector 1 instead of the one I showed you in the beginning. And then let's take a look at the setup. So for the aerodynamics we used 28 on the front and 24 on the rear. For transmission it was 62 and 54. Then geometry was all the way to the right for camber and all the way to the left on the toe. Suspension was 3.1, then 7.2 for anti-roll bar and 5.6 for ride height. Brakes were 150 and then the front tires were 23.0 while the rears were 22.3. So that was the setup, and then let's jump right into the race strategy. So the strategy for this race is hard to mediums, and then the fuel load you should put around 36.4. I put around 35.9, but that was a bit too low. For the setup, the only thing you want to change is the tire pressure, where you want to put the front tires on the minimum and the rear tires just one click to the right. I had 2 clicks to the right, but that was a bit too high I think. So just 1 click and then it's perfect. So let's go into the race. So the formation lap, let's skip that. So at the end of the formation lap, try to get the purple and try to have the tires up to temperature. But then off to the race start. We started P4 behind Hamilton, so we needed to try and get in front of him. So we got a decent start, and then we wanted to get on the left side of Hamilton. And we almost got away with it perfectly. We got hit in the back by Paris, but no damage, and we got P3, so that was pretty good. And then at the end of lap 2, we have around 5% tire wear, so each lap the tires will get worn by 2 to 3% on the hards. But I'll just show you a lap around Canada on the hard tires, so you can see how the temperatures also are on the tires. But around Canada you can almost do the same in the hot lap as you do on the race. Just have in mind that you have more fuel in the car, so it's harder to brake. So maybe brake before you would do in the hot lap, and then watch out when putting the throttle down, so you don't end up spinning. Otherwise, also have in mind down in the U-turn you want to brake a lot before. Otherwise you'll end up like me, going very wide. But other than that, the car felt very stable with this setup, and the tires as well. Just have in mind also in the chicane, just be careful not to end up in the wall, because if you do that, you're out of the race. And then this lap was a 1:13.306, so that was actually pretty decent, and we also got Russell into this corner here. Then at the end of lap 21 we have around 40 and 50% tire wear, so go into the pits. Brake around here, otherwise you'll end up by having a 5 seconds penalty. So coming into the pits, turn in around 0.5 to hit the purple, and then that's all good. And then remember, coming out of the pits your tires will be a lot colder, so take it a bit slow in the corners, brake before you usually would, and then you're all good. And then on the mediums you want to do the same as in the hot lap. Just have in mind down in the U-turn that you want to brake a bit before because of the fuel load. Other than that, all good. So we did a 1:12.243, so that was the fastest lap of this race. And the medium tires will also have around 3% tire wear each lap. And then at the end of the race we have 0.07 laps of extra fuel, and that was with a lot of fuel management, so just put in some more. The tires were around 30 and 40%, so that was also okay. We could have pitted one lap before if we wanted to, but that was decent. So that was it from me. Hope you can use this video, and I'll see you in the next one.